Hello and welcome to the Bacon Pancast featuring Jake's Meatloaf. It's an Adventure Time podcast, and we are Jake's Meatloaf. I'm Tulip.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chad.
I'm Tipsy.
Tipsy, do you feel like tipping over any boxes? Being the resident cat of the podcast?
I am the cat who tips over the box, but I tend not to do so intentionally. I just tend to do so accidentally whenever I stand up out of my computer chair, and then I ouch in pain because I hit my foot on a box, and then I hobble downstairs to get some more iced coffee.
That's not very cat-like.
Well, my actual cat watches this, like, what the hell are you doing?
I tipped something over last night when I shouldn't have, and I dropped my laptop off my bed, and then today I had to find out if it was broken, and there was something wrong with it, but I got in there and I fixed it, and now everything is okay.
Oh,
Nice.
what was wrong with it?
The power button was pressing itself so it would turn itself off when it was on, and it would turn itself on when it was off. But then I went under the keyboard and I unscrewed a thing, and then I was like, well, I don't know what else to do, so I screwed it back on. But that helps. It's tighter now than it was after I dropped it, I guess.
Good job. I just heard someone start the episode.
Yeah, are you watching it for the first time? Can you let us know what you think?
I need to look at screenshots as a reminder. I also don't know why the sound played.
Yeah, just mute it because everything is going to be picked up by Audacity.
You got it.
Yeah, I just rewatched it.
So did I. Third time for me.
Oh, I've only seen it the once. I was scrolling through all the images of it just now, though. I just didn't want to listen to it again.
Yeah. So something else I have a little bit of a problem with, and this is it's very much a me thing, and no one can help me solve this but myself. But my process for these is that I watch the episode once when it comes out, to enjoy it, and then I watch it a second time to take notes about it, and, think critically and stuff. And, when I watch it the first time, then, my brain checks a box that says, all right, she watched it. And then it takes me a while to get my meter back up to feel ready to watch it a second time, and then during that time in between, then I see other people's opinions online, and I try to avoid that because I don't want to accidentally end up saying something that quoting something I read. If I talk about a Tumblr post on here, which I will do sometimes, I like to put a link to it in the description or something. So I try to be careful about that, and it could get hard when I'm I should really watch this episode, but it doesn't feel like it's time yet to write my notes.
Well, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because we can't record on Thursdays anymore like we used to.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm actually glad that we have a little bit of time to digest it between watching it and recording.
Yeah, but what was it? What day was the Owl House? Did that come out on Saturdays and then we'd record on the Sunday? So
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it'd come out Saturday night in America, and then I'd spend all Sunday morning trying to avoid the Owl House spoilers, and then finally everyone in America would be online, and we could watch it together and record together.
God, I was so unemployed back then.
Yeah, but it's a two-edged sword, right? Because on one hand, having a 3-day gap means that we have plenty of time to review the episode, digest it, wait for King of Ooh to post a bunch of information about its development, and we can have a more informed podcast as a result. On the other hand, it makes it a worse reaction podcast because the reaction isn't fresh off the bat, and also, it might be that we haven't seen it in a couple of days either.
Right. That's the thing. This is an Adventure Time opinions podcast where, we come in and we say that we liked this thing and we didn't like this thing. And so I want to make sure that what I'm saying are my own opinions.
Yeah,
I live in a bubble, and I only talk about this and engage with it with you guys, so that's
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, every time I watch the episode, I go onto Rage Cage and complain about it or get excited about it, and then all my friends are like, well, I liked these things that you didn't like, or I agree this was bad, or I agree this was fantastic. So I'm not really... I'm semi-insulated, I suppose. I don't care about the opinions of people on Tumblr or Twitter or Reddit, but I do talk about it with people before the podcast.
Well, this episode has Ice Thing in it, so it's the best episode of the season automatically.
Valid. Okay, so shall we begin with that opening sequence?
Yeah.
Once again, we have a very nice storytelling style opening sequence, and it's about Huntress Wizard's backstory before the bit we saw a couple episodes ago, where she was under training. We saw her. She just appears to be some creature who showed up in the forest one day and was killing things, and then this guy saw her and was like, "Oh, how adorable! I saw you turn that rabbit into jerky. I'm going to raise you as my child." And then, because he built a house out of hay in the middle of a woods, it got burnt down in the middle of a thunderstorm, and they all died horribly, which was sad.
I was surprised we got more backstory. I thought like that other episode was going to be all we got, so that was interesting.
Yeah, that would be the case. So in Adventure Time, you would get cases where like they do one episode with this section of backstory, and you're like, that might be the only thing you ever get. But if the show goes on long enough, they do another one with the before backstory or the after backstory. Like Marceline, for example, has so many backstory episodes. But those tend to be seasons apart, whereas here, they were all planned at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I needed more from her backstory, but I didn't mind it. I liked it, but I don't know. Maybe it was mostly to show her how she eats weird.
That's what I was going to say. It establishes her creature form.
Yes, it definitely served a purpose in this episode. I don't think I needed it. I think I could have picked up on it from how she was a little plant and then she was getting bigger after that. But it was cool to look at. We haven't talked about this yet, how the fact that every episode so far has opened with like a little sequence in a different art style.
Well, the last one wasn't a different art style, was it?
It was.
Wasn't it Fionna and Cake? Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah, it was like lineless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's strange how they really flex the art style muscles at the very beginning of the episode before the intro's even played. But no, I've been enjoying these intros, even if, they're not really cohesive, if you know what I mean. They set something up for what is being covered within the episode, I think, rather than connecting to the series as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. I get what you mean, yeah. I think I kind of felt that last time, too, about how, was the exact moment that the world stopped being magical something I needed to see? Not really, but, I did like it. I liked seeing the old versions of them for just a minute.
Yeah, a little bit. It hits the nostalgia a little bit, doesn't it? But it also shows...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The purpose of that scene is to show Fiona's relationship to Flame Prince, and it shows who they are in the original Fiona world as well. And if you didn't know that Flame Prince is supposed to be Flame Princess before, now you know. And if you saw Adventure Time proper, you know how important Flame Princess was to Finn.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that, then the last episode where she showed up would have been very odd.
Yeah. Well, it's also I think they're assuming that a lot of people who are watching Fiona and Cake haven't seen Adventure Time since 2012.
Yeah. Which I can say, this is something I wanted to bring up. I've seen a good amount of TikTok edits of Huntress Wizard with a lot of views, so people are watching this, which is good because it was not advertised.
It really wasn't. It's unfortunate.
No, I just Cartoon Network and HBO have never really had faith in their animated series to begin with, have they? Which is why it's strange that they keep coming out. If you didn't have faith in this, why did you announce 5 Adventure Time series and then make 2 of them?
I'm still flabbergasted about that. I'm gonna be happy about it, but I'm I didn't expect this,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, probably time to get moving into the actual plot of this episode.
Yeah.
Well, they go to a grocery store, or
they went to Costco.
Yeah.
And Marshall runs into Do we know Ice Queen's name in this universe or
We
no?
don't know her name yet.
We're assuming she's called Simona or something stupid like that. She could have a completely different name, you know, but she doesn't look like a Groff or anything. She looks like a Petrikov.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Simone Petrikov, or, I mean, the closest thing we know is that she turned from Ice Queen into Ice Cream, because she runs the ice cream, like, cart in the park.
Yeah. But the thing is, in the Fionna and Cake comics, the original ones, Ice Cream had a completely different backstory. She was actually a water nymph originally.
Right, I was going to talk about this because I reread the comics this week because of this, because I was feeling vindicated that Ice Queen seems like she's going to do something this season based on the fact that she's in the intro. And I was like, that probably means something, right? And it turns out it probably does.
Yeah.
So I was refreshing my memory about the Fionna and Cake comics, wherein, yes, Ice Queen was not a human who put on the ice crown and, you know, survived through the Mushroom War. As far as we know, Fionna and Cake's version of Ood maybe never had a Mushroom War. A lot of stuff seems to be different. But she was a water nymph who saved the life of a cat, which is implied to be either Cake or maybe like a past life of Cake's, in the way that cats are known to have 9 lives. And then this cat wanted to repay the water nymph by giving it a magic crown that would freeze the water, thereby making it immortal. And then, so that turned into Ice Queen. And then Ice Queen, the reason that she kidnaps princes is not like Ice King is, you know, acting as a parody of his former self and his love for Betty. Ice Queen does it very intentionally because she wants the warmth of love to melt her back into being a water nymph.
Oh no!
And then she succeeds, sort of, at the end of that comic, using Flame Prince's fire. And then she, like, dies, question mark. So, you know, that part, the part where she dies, probably isn't canon and doesn't matter. But other things from the comic do matter, like Flame Prince's character design appeared there first and then later in the show. And also in that comic, the original Fionna and Cake series by Natasha Allegri is what I'm referring to. Gumball makes a wand sword for Fionna, which then appears in The Prince Who Wanted Everything. And then later, just last episode, during that flashback at the beginning, she still has the same one. So stuff from those comics, like, kind of do matter a little bit, and they are still thinking about it. Oh, another thing is that Cake's eyes are blue in the comics, where they were white in the show, but then they turned them blue for this spinoff. So they're thinking about that stuff. And in the comics, Ice Queen, you know, Marshall was never mentioned when they were showing off Ice Queen's backstory, whereas now they seem to be inventing some reason that they might be related to each other in some way, which makes total sense because these are also new, you know, retoolings of their characters, both in and out of universe. And I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, I forgot she was in the episode at all, so when I rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Like, they shared this, like, glance of, like, oh, wait a minute, do I know you? I'm wondering what it will lead to.
Oh yeah, also, before I forget, I wanted to say that in the comics, Flame Prince, rather than being the ruler of a kingdom, is like the leader of a pride of fire lions.
Yeah, he's feral.
And he can only speak in meows, which Kate can understand because she's a cat and she has to translate for Fionna. And this was referenced in the title of last episode, The Lion of Embers, you know, referring metaphorically to DJ Flame. Just shows again that they are still thinking about it.
Dang, I should have read these comics, I guess.
Yeah. Are these the comics that they, like, released recently in a compilation?
Yeah, well, they are in the Fionna and Cake compendium.
Yeah, okay.
They're old as hell, though. They're, like, over 10 years old.
Yeah. I know, because they re-released or like whatever we call the original comic series as a compendium too, like a few months ago.
But that's the end of that. We don't learn anything more about Fionna World's new Ice Queen, and we don't see anything else that Gary and Marshall do. They just sort of move on, I guess. But Fionna is trying to find DJ Flame so that he can help her with advertising for their fundraiser.
Yeah, that radio bit was funny. That was good.
Yeah, like, but what you can get into your panties is his new single. That made me laugh. Jumping ahead a bit, maybe, but this was a very naked episode.
True.
Like, Fiona starts out this arc of hers, in the shower, listening to the radio.
Tits out, bits out.
And, like, later, Huntress Wizard grows into her full size in the grocery store and, is kicked out for being nude.
We see ass. Lots of ass.
And then when they run into DJ Flame later and he's, like, running and sweating shirtless, I'm like, there's a lot of bodies in this episode.
I didn't even think of that, but you're right.
Haven't you ever been young and naked? That was a good line.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what she said. She finally meets Huntress, who is eating rats.
Well, Fiona was also going to eat the rat, to be fair.
Yeah, she was
and then
"Ooh,
she
rat
pulled out a
jerky."
perfectly normal, healthy sandwich from the fridge
Yeah.
after she was about to eat a rat. Like, girl, what's wrong with you?
Hey, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, of course, we also saw Fiona running around and, like, remembering how she met DJ Flame the first time. And how, those things don't quite match up with what he is up to in the modern day. He's changed as much as she has, I guess.
Well, it's not just him, it's also like the world has changed. All the places she used to work and she got fired from, they're all closed now.
Yeah. Well, the carnival seems to still be in operation. It's just, like, really run down. And Fiona World Starchy has gone missing, which I choose to believe is because they, ran away and left society. Just like how the original Starchy did in Grable's 1000 Plus.
That's a deep cut.
Actually, it seems like they said, if you see this man, please inform the Bulldog. It seems like he's a menace, specifically to the fairground. Also, why is Starchy a he? Didn't we see, like, female Starchy last season? Or
No, we didn't. No, Starchy in Fionna and Cake, the series, has always, like, been presented as a guy with a mustache, but his voice is more feminine.
Starchy
so maybe
is trans.
He's also transgender.
Starchy is trans. Also, trans scars Hunter win, by the way. Wait, no, that was last episode.
That was last episode.
Yeah, we already talked about that. Sorry.
We could talk about it again if you want to get into the discourse a little bit.
Well, I do want to get into discourse a little bit, but not trans discourse, because that just seems very, very mean. Like, I've done my time. I've done my Homestuck discourse of people were unhappy because Roxy was a trans guy, not a trans girl. And I heard out all the opinions of that, and, like, I get it, but it's not my place to argue about it, And I don't want to. I want every trans person.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want every trans person to feel welcome. So
Yeah, well, I'm a trans woman, so let me give you my take. Okay, I didn't originally word this very well, so I'm going to re-record just this one sentence for clarity's sake. People online are saying it sucks that Huntress Wizard wasn't confirmed to be a trans woman, despite the fact that Hunter was confirmed to be a trans man. Like, it is true that in this episode, Fiona... this is an example of where I'll link a Tumblr post in the description of where I read this information. Fiona refers to Huntress Wizard as a girl before she even, like, says any words. She's just like, that's a plant girl who's running around and causing problems. Which, it seems to go against the reading that Huntress Wizard could be a trans woman. I think, personally, it doesn't invalidate the reading that she could be one. My evidence for this would be, we saw that she, like, gave a mouth to herself when she observed other people eating with their mouths, so we know that even without magic, she has some form of control over what her body looks like. So I think giving herself, like, a woman-shaped body is something she could have chosen to do, and not just how her body would naturally grow.
there's also the question of when Huntress Wizard became a girl as well. Like,
because we don't know for sure that happened in the backstory that we saw in this episode. So, the point I'm making is it does suck a little bit, and when I say that I didn't need to see all that backstory, this is sort of part of why I say that. But I still think we could still read her that way, and I also think that, like, Hunter being a trans man is almost in the same way, like, something you have to read into. because top scars do mean something. You know, that means someone had top surgery and they probably had to have a reason to do it. But we only know that that's top scars because Vico Ortiz said so in like an Instagram comment somewhere. And voice actors are not writers. We all remember when Olivia Olson said Bubbling was confirmed long before that was actually true. And, you know, when we saw the top scars, he was, like, turned away from the camera. That's just a mark on his body. Now, I'm sure that when they drew it there, they were intending for it to be top scars and to mean that he's trans, but that isn't technically in the text of the episode. So I think if we're reading into that to say that he is trans, then we can read into little bits about Huntress Wizard and say the same thing about her.
I agree completely. One correction, though. What Olivia Olson said at the con was correct, and what she said afterwards was a lie.
All right, I don't. To be honest, that was a long time ago, so I don't specifically remember.
Yeah. She pretended she made it up because she got in so much trouble for saying it because nobody wanted her to say it because they were all too scared that their show was going to get cancelled. That's what happened, and she didn't expect someone to be recording the conversation. So she backtracked and said that it was a lie. And then we all lost our minds because we were so upset that she would say it was a lie or that she would lie. But it clearly wasn't a lie. Anyway, I completely get what you're saying. It's not only is there the argument that some people were unhappy that Hunter is overtly trans, whereas Huntress Wizard is just trans in the way that PB is trans, and that she decided to be a girl, but she was never a boy. She was born non-binary. Mm-hmm. She was never assigned a sex.
Yeah, they didn't say it, and they also didn't say it the other way. Although, did anybody watch this episode with subtitles on?
No. Because
I tend to do that for my second run through, and the subtitles misgendered Hunter when he calls Fiona on the phone to like remind her about the appointment she's going to miss later. Like it says, it's, you know, in brackets before the text, just so that like any deaf watchers will know who's speaking and that it's not Fiona, it's someone else who's not on screen. It doesn't say Hunter, it says woman.
Fucking die!
Which sucks because it's misgendering him. And also just because in the way that it speaks to like people whose job it is to write subtitles are put under crunch to the point where they like can't pay too much attention to what they're writing, and this is also the reason why whenever something is in another language it just says speak Spanish or whatever instead of actually translating it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, generally sucks, and this is just something that reminded me of that, I guess.
So what about the plot of this episode as a whole? Like,
I found it to be slow.
Yeah.
Did any of you like it?
I found it to be the weakest so far, personally.
I agree. I think that like it's serving a purpose in the you know, wider narrative of the season. You know, at this point last time it was before they really settled into the routine of going into different universes and stuff. But yeah, you know, every episode before this, I think that I would probably like have a reason to want to return to it and watch it just on its own. And for this episode, I don't feel like I would have that.
Yeah, that's part of why I opened it up again, is because like I feel like a lot happens in it, but at the same time, like nothing really happens in it.
Yeah, like the whole thing with all the princesses being set up in the other one to get the Enchiridion, and that kind of, I mean, I guess the Enchiridion bit was used to show Prismo. It was like, I don't have wish magic anymore right now, which I guess is like, okay, but I'm like, then he just sends them off, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's done.
Could I just point out for a moment the number of plot threads in this episode?
Go ahead.
Plot thread number 1, Huntress Wizard backstory. Plot thread number 2, Huntress Wizard in the modern day. Plot thread number 3, Fiona's romance problems and general shit life. Plot thread number 4, Finn dying and everyone trying to save him. Plot thread number 5, Prismo and Prismo's everything. Plot thread number 6, Gary's bloody shop and Fiona failing to go to the meetup to get the shops, to get a fundraiser for the shop. Plot thread number 7, whatever that thing between Marshall and Simon was. Plot thread number 8, Cake at Cheers.
That's what the episode's named after.
Yeah.
That's 8 plot threads in this episode.
I feel even with that, I feel like you're forgetting one or two. I don't even know why. I'm just like, there's got to be more, right?
There's more plot threads here than in a Grable short.
Yeah. Yeah, like Cake's whole B plot or F plot or whatever down the alphabet plot that was. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the Cheers bit with them being tiny was funny, but kind of what's happening with her just seems kind of like generic.
Well, the Cheers thing was so weird. Like, first of all, Gridface Princess fans rise up.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, that's a good point.
I find myself a member of the very small Gridface Princess fandom, so seeing...
Is that even her name? Doesn't she have a different name now? That they called her Force Field Princess or something like that in the episode Something Big.
No. In Something Big, this is where we learned that her name was Gridface Princess. Before that, she was called Orange Princess, which is also referenced in this episode because, like, South Orange Street is the location of where they were shooting Cheers.
Wow.
Oh.
They pull everything all the time.
Anyway, yeah, so I liked seeing that guy, GF, as he referred to himself as, and his assistant, MG, who I have no clue who she is, but I feel like she's got to be someone. I guess she kind of looks like the Gridface minions from Something Big, but I don't really know. Why would she be called MG?
Well, maybe she has a name in Adventure Time and we don't know the name.
Mini guy.
Yeah, mini guy.
But yeah, then, like, Cheers being small seems like it throws a wrench into the whole vibe of what Fiona World is in the first place.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so about the Cheers thing, Adam Muto said in a Muto there. Let me get the code up. I always try to find like one thing in each episode that I'm really excited to see. It might be something visual or something stupid, like I want to see tiny chairs. I mean, there's arguably no reason to see tiny chairs, but I want to include these weird things because maybe it wouldn't exist on any other show. So I think finding one of those things in every episode is what keeps me going. Jack Pendarvis reposted this quote and said, "If you've seen episode 4, you know Adam Muto wasn't saying tiny chairs."
Oh, nice.
He really wanted to put in tiny cheers.
Mm-hmm.
It kept him going. That's why it's here.
You know what? More power to him.
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
I know. I mean, I was thinking this is exactly the kind of thing that like would fit right in any normal Adventure Time episode, but the fact that it's in Fiona World just makes it feel so bizarre.
The fact this is such a serious context as well, like the fact that Cake's problems are being treated so seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it did play into that, though. I guess it would have been harder to make her, like, embarrass herself by chasing them around like mice if they were normal-sized people.
Well, true, but also, like, because they're tiny, she also becomes tiny and has to use her shape-shifting abilities. But so does she also have a complex about her shape-shifting abilities? I don't get it.
Well, so this episode did put a point on what Cake is going through this season more so than I had understood it before. I thought that, like, she had two things going on, which is that she wants to appear more like a human to impress her crush, and that she, like, has a carryover desire from the last season, a desire to, like, see the world become more magical than it is. And that she's like a little bit salty that that's not the case and she's the only magic thing in it. But it turns out that it wasn't exactly either one of those. It was really just one thing, which is that Cake doesn't like being objectified. Like, that's what is happening in this episode, is she's being objectified for her body as being a magic cat. And, like, she wants to get away from that. Like, of course she would want to appear more like a human in a world where everyone else is humans and she's the only magic cat.
Yeah, she wants to be a person like everyone else, and she thinks being a cat and being a person are incompatible.
And yeah, and in the first episode, I said, well, that's something that she'll just need to get over, I guess. She should be herself, and, you know, everyone will like her for that. But they actually do like her for being a cat already, and that's part of her problem. So that's more complicated, and I don't really know how she's going to get out of that, although I do have a theory, if you'd like to hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Huntress Wizard, in this episode, says that she can sense that this world has a heart, although it's weaker than the one from Ooh, and this is how she wants to get back into the multiverse, I guess, is by finding it. If that's true, and like it works the same way that it does in Ooh, then maybe this season is going to end with, like, there being some green wizard types appearing from the magic of the heart in Fionna World, and that, you know, maybe they never needed Ice King's crown magic to get magic back. They can just, like, get their own unique form of magic, the same way that the green wizards, like, sort of extracted it out of the heart of the forest, and the same way that the Wizard City wizards extracted magic out of the body of Kokentepe.
Magic always existed in the Adventure Time world, even before the Great Mushroom War, and long before the Great Mushroom War. So, if the Fionna and Cake world is being genuinely pulled into the multiverse, then it only makes sense that it gets pulled into the realm of magic as well.
Right, and so if that happens, then, Cake won't be the only magic thing in the world anymore, and there won't be so much of a spotlight put on her anymore, and that might be how that goes.
There is a talking tank.
Yeah, but, like, come on, she's cute. People are looking at her. And she, turned into a big Godzilla. Everyone saw that. Everyone knows who Cake is.
What happened to Jay and Little Destiny?
They're hanging around.
I mean, we'll find out because Destiny fucking got killed the last episode, or we didn't see anything of that.
True.
I'm not sure if that has anything to do with anything.
Maybe, who knows?
Maybe. So we have mixed feelings on. We can see where they're going with Cake. I'm not sure I find it compelling. I do find the Tiny Cheers funny, even though Jackham is devastated about law broken, magic being in Fionna and Cake world makes no sense. What does this even mean? Well,
it's not magic yet. It's just that there are some people who are little.
Well, also, Cheers is something born directly from Simon Petrikov's mind. Right?
Yeah. Oh, this is something else I was trying to do research into by watching older episodes, and I came up with nothing. See, when I watched this and I saw that Cheers was little, I was like, that's probably an Ice King reference, right? Like, that is that way because Ice King at some point had made a joke about thinking that like people in the TV are actually inside the TV and they're small. But I went back to multiple episodes where Ice King interacted with a TV, including the origin of Cheers and Adventure Time, Simon and Marcy. Maybe he put on like a puppet show back then. That's not what happened. He just like stuck his head through the TV. There was never a joke like that. So I just kind of made that up as an explanation, I guess. It's not true. Cheers is small literally just because it's funny.
Well done. Well done. No, but also, this isn't a normal world. That just because it's, like, a coffee shop AU, it's not actually a normal world. This isn't, like, 2025 or 2024, there's a receipt that says 2024, Earth, that the characters just happen to be in. This is its own universe that was created from Simon Petrikov's mind.
Yeah. Which does still matter even now that it's been disconnected from his mind.
Yeah, we still have Betty statues everywhere.
Exactly. And we saw Betty on like a advertisement in the grocery store this ep.
And Cheers is the most popular TV show of all time and is constantly airing.
That was like, yeah. It makes perfect sense because of the way that the world had to be to like match up with Simon's psyche for so long. But like, it never occurred to me that in Fionna World, Cheers would be a show that's still running. I thought that they were all watching old reruns.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that too.
But no, I mean, of course, it's the most popular thing that everyone cares about.
I guess the characters, they've got to be like, they're like replicas. I have never seen Cheers, right?
Neither have the writers of this show.
I have no idea if the characters in Cheers are actually, in the Cheers and Fionna and Cake are actually the characters from the real Cheers show.
The characters, in terms of like what their names are in the credits, yes, they are the characters from Cheers. I've never seen Cheers either, by the way. I just know this from like looking a little bit of shit up. But I'm confident that no one writing this has seen Cheers, and I think that they're leaning into that. I think that that's supposed to be something you laugh at.
So even though they're wearing Fionna and Cake though, the Cheers cast aren't gender bent.
Yeah.
And the show appears to be, well, we didn't know that the show was ongoing, but it apparently is. So, both those things make it very anomalous. So, all the crew members being really tiny alternate versions of the actual crew members from the real show, it just makes sense for some reason. Because we're already on several realms of bizarreness.
I love that you had such a discussion about this.
I know, I was going to say that.
I'm so glad, too. I'm like, I don't have much to say about this episode, so I'm just sitting here like, oh, holy shit.
I liked Ice Thing. Ice Thing's really cute and funny. I like.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
I think,
hi, Daddy. That's his first line.
I think there's stuff like that, like Ice Thing and Big Destiny, that you could just tell that like the writers just love them and they just want to have them show up somehow.
Yeah.
So that was really nice to see that.
Yeah, I love seeing Ice Thing as well. So here's something I thought about that scene. I think it's clearly meant to imply that Simon is visiting Ice Thing for maybe the first time. He doesn't go to the Ice Thingdom, hardly ever. But there's an alternate interpretation I thought of when he was like, Ice Thing, which is that, maybe they do see each other more regularly, but Gunter recently decided to change his name to Ice Thing.
Yeah.
And, Simon is still getting used to that.
Yeah. Makes sense because, like, why, how would he have known to call him that?
Well, think about that for a moment, because if you remember the Adventure Time finale, I'm pretty sure that Ice Thing was helping make, they had the whole scene in Marceline's house, and Ice Thing was there, and Simon was there as well.
Yeah.
So it's possible the writers of this season are electing to ignore that, but they clearly are interacting. But they're showing here that Simon sees his old self in Ice Thing, and you know how he feels about his old self. We've seen an entire fucking season of Simon having feelings about his old self. So
I don't think that's incompatible with the fact that they also hung out, like, right after they saved the world together.
Yeah,
with everyone.
I'm just thinking, he's seen him at least, but it could be like a Jake and the Kid situation where he's only seen him those 2 times.
Yeah, maybe. I just, I thought about, like, where did the name Ice Thing come from? And I think that it would be funny if Gunter just said, I know what I'll be called. And, like, sent out letters to everyone telling them the news.
This is my new name.
I thought it was cute that Ice Thing would give up the wishing eye until Simon watched him play drums, and Simon was watching and he gave him, like, a little smile. I'm like, aw. He's not like, this thing's so annoying. He's like, oh, it's kind of cute.
Oh my god, also, like, demonic wishing eye lore, furthest thing from my mind. I did not think that we would be learning about that in Fionna and Cake Season 2.
Seriously.
Me neither.
So if you remember when it was used in the show, right?
Yeah, it takes a little piece of your soul every time you use it.
Yeah, and Gunter made 10 million Gunters with it, so Gunter's soul is like the most twisted thing in the universe. But yet he found happiness, which is really funny.
Yeah. Well, see, I was wondering, like, do you think that Ice King's use of the wishing eye carries over to post-finale Simon? And I would put my money on, nah, he's fine, because, like, Betty made him safe, and that includes having a complete soul, probably. But now he's going to make some more wishes, and who knows what that's going to do.
I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure this is Adventure Time. He's definitely lost pieces of his soul. We're not in like, everything's fine, nothing bad will happen to him when he dies. No, he's lost pieces of his soul, and whatever that means, it's happened. So there's like tiny pieces of Simon that are gone into magic hell.
Well, the thing is, we really might learn the answer to this question shortly, which is...
That's true. You're right. We might learn it next episode.
It is fun to speculate about. You might be right. People were also theorizing that, like, maybe Simon is immortal because of Betty keeping him safe, but, like, that's clearly not the case.
Yeah, they made it clear he's aging. But we saw Part of the reason for that theory is because in the Adventure Time intro for the finale, we see someone riding the duck.
Yeah, that's PB.
No, that's not PB. That's Marceline.
Oh, yeah.
PB's trapped in prison. But we thought...
Yeah, I got it backwards.
But at first we thought, well, Marceline doesn't ride ducks. She flies. So we thought, well, maybe that's actually Simon. Especially because they were using, like, a telescope. Which is a very Simon thing. But actually it was Marceline. So that's where the theory of Simon being forever immortal sort of came from.
You guys, also in the ooh part of this episode, they had like a wide shot of a bunch of princesses, even more princesses than we saw like before. And there are some notable people in the crowd that are interesting for a similar reason to why I was talking about Cotton Candy Princess last episode.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now.
Such as Old Lady Princess, someone who has literally never appeared since the episode that was about her, When Wedding Bells Thaw, back in season 1? Was that 1 or 2?
I don't remember.
I'm surprised they didn't put Ghost Princess in this lineup with the amount of weird princesses they have.
Right, Bandit Princess is here, which is funny to think that she might actually be a princess in some way and not just someone who steals things and calls herself a princess. And most bafflingly, Princess Zip, the alien one from the 1,000 Years in the Future.
Guess she's 1,000 years old. But Princess Zip actually has what appears to be Princess Bubblegum's crown, which PB isn't wearing in this image, by the way. So maybe this is how she got crowned.
That's probably a coincidence.
Yeah, no.
That would be funny.
What actually happened is someone at Adventure Time background crew, that someone wrote on the storyboard, here are all the princesses, put the princesses here, and someone on the background crew was like, alright, well, I best get all the princesses, and they just looked up princesses in the database and put them all here.
Embryo Princess.
Embryo Princess is here.
Everyone's here, like Smash Bros.
Of course, and there's Gridface. I like seeing her. Her alternate self was in there, so they got ahead of her. Same with Breakfast Princess. I liked seeing gender swap Breakfast Princess, and I was a little bit disappointed to learn that he doesn't have a name in the credits. He's just called Manager. And it's like, come on, you gave Turbo Allen a name, but you can't give something to Breakfast Prince.
They ran out of ideas. What do you think of the... So I really liked when Bubblegum lost her patience with Huntress Wizard on the phone.
I was going to say that. Her voice acting is great.
You can see that Huntress is really cagey. Huntress doesn't know what to do because she doesn't trust the Wizard Society. She doesn't trust Fiona. She barely trusts Simon. She doesn't trust Bubblegum. But she's completely on her own as a result of that.
Yeah, I do think this is a very interesting place for Huntress Wizard right now. That she's kind of like between two worlds, literally, of course, but also I'm thinking of the fact that she clearly has broken ties with the Green Wizards. Even if she wanted to come back, they would not want her back. But she's still like upholding their principles by like not collaborating with Princess Bubblegum, who has made an enemy of wizards, as we know.
Yeah, she doesn't completely... It's like she still sees herself as a wizard in sort of the cult mentality. Even if she doesn't see the wizards as her allies, she still wants to protect that knowledge. Even if she was the one to betray that knowledge and destroy the heart of the forest.
I do think, of course, that she's going to end up depending on Fiona, even now that she's not stuck in her apartment anymore. Because Fiona's still watering that plant in the like credits. It's still getting bigger. I think that Huntress Wizard is still going to need specifically Fiona's help for some reason.
I love how we can't think of a reason she would need Fiona's help.
We just don't know it yet. Things are moving so slowly. My first time watching this, I did feel a little bit anxious about it because I was thinking of, like you said earlier, all the plot threads in this episode, how much they're going to have to do in the rest of this season, and like how it feels like we're not getting there yet. But, they've got plenty of episodes yet. I'm sure there's a plan.
So, what about the Fiona side of this episode?
Crickets.
Yeah. And it was fine. She just can't remember the stupid meeting, and it stresses me out.
I felt really bad for Hunter because not only did he stick his neck out for her on several occasions, he also as soon as he heard the name DJ Flame, he went, ugh, Flame. And he knew exactly why Fiona had forgotten about the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And hadn't bothered to give him a phone call.
And we got to meet Fennel again.
We did get to meet Fennel. I'm happy about that, even though she did nothing.
She was like, I like your cardigan.
Which is funny because she was wearing one that looks very similar.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why she likes it.
Yeah, but of course they have the same taste. They're like the same person. Almost.
I don't know. I see all the romance aspects. I'm like, who is this supposed to appeal? Who is supposed to enjoy this? Do the writers enjoy writing this? Are we supposed to enjoy watching it?
I mean, this is indulging in the coffee shop AU. You write a coffee shop AU so that you can get the characters to just interact like they're normal people and fall in love in a mundane way.
Yeah, but we're 4 episodes in and she still has no likable characteristics whatsoever. It's like she's losing them as the series goes on.
Well, I would disagree that her unlikableness is what makes her likable. Because then she's like a as the kids say, she's a girl failure, and people really like that kind of thing because it's relatable.
I am a girl failure. I don't need to be watching one.
It's a great quote.
No, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. It's working on me. I think that her life is falling apart, and it is her fault, and she needs to get through it or something. I was actually talking to my brother about this yesterday, so that's not something I can give a link to, but it is to give context, I guess. And he was saying what we're seeing is that Fiona is not suited for a non-magic world. Everything that she's trying to do is failing because her way of thinking isn't matching up. And she is haunted by the specter of the regular world existing around her, which is perhaps the reason that she saw a normal dog, and she was like, why is this happening? And that was just a very one-off joke, but maybe it represents something.
Why is this happening to the dog? Why is this happening? Oh.
And then it ends super abruptly again, where she's like, oh yeah, I have rent. And then the episode's over. I'm like, oh my god, please.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's, again, this is her struggles further. And that ending made me consider, we mentioned in the other podcast episode, maybe Huntress Wizard is just going to try and help them by killing the landlord. Her getting evicted made me think maybe that actually might happen. It made me feel like it was somewhat likely.
Well, they kind of need each other.
I don't want it to happen, to be clear, because I think that both Queenie and Hannah Abadir are funny characters who I would like to see stick around. But maybe they should be put under some kind of threat, and that would be good for them and everyone else.
You get the sort of setup for how Fiona and Huntress Wizard can both help each other's lives and ruin each other's lives, if you understand, because Huntress really fucked over Fiona's day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Fiona is also everything that Huntress is not, which is that Huntress is very direct, straightforward, secretive, doesn't say much of anything, just rushes straight to the point, whereas Fiona forgets everything along the way to... It gets distracted by everything, especially if boys are involved. Huntress Wizard is trying to save a boy she likes, who also happens to be an alternate version of Fiona, but who also happens to be similarly airheaded. You think about Finn in his world, is his life really that much better than Fiona's at the moment? I mean, he lost his number one partner in the world, and since then his life has been a fucking train wreck. He goes on adventures, but then he gets himself into trouble, gets himself caught on a train, and Huntress Wizard is told he deserves to die, and then you see Huntress Wizard thinking to herself, she's thinking, Finn got himself into such a fucking mess. Why do you leave me to deal with this?
I don't think that his life was a mess all the time. I think that he does his best, and his best is what it looks like it was, when he was giving Simon a blindfold tour. Maybe not what he needed in that moment, but he was trying, and I think that that's representative of what he's like to everyone else, probably.
Well, that Fiona's trying as well, isn't she, though? She's just trying too many things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not that dissimilar. It's just that we also have 10 seasons of normal Adventure Time Finn that this version of Finn is heavily leaning on. So I think there's definitely strong parallels there of how Fiona's life is in shit order, and Finn hasn't quite got himself together at the moment either, and that's why his relationship with Huntress is so. Well, that could be why his relationship with Huntress is so on and off, but that's also because of Huntress Wizard herself. You see, she can't commit to anything.
Yeah.
And Fiona's easygoing nature and willingness to try risky things is sort of what Huntress and her ability to connect with others, even momentarily, even if things go wrong. That's kind of what Huntress Wizard needs right now. Just that sort of brazenness to go forward without thinking like an assassin all the time.
Yeah, that's a good reading. And, I hope to see their relationship blossom soon.
But anyway, if that all happens, then I can forgive this episode for, all of the flame print stuff, which I despised from the bottom of my heart. Because I certainly don't find it entertaining within itself. But I feel like I'm alone in that. I feel like a lot of people really like the romance of this series. It just reminds me, I said it last week. When I'm watching an episode or a series where finally the girl is the protagonist, what I don't want it to do is be bogged down on how hot she thinks the boys are.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I also think that that's part of the reason that she is relatable to a lot of people in the audience.
Yeah, but Adventure Time is a weird show, and there's nothing weird about Fiona's relationship to Flame Prince. It's not weird, but it's also not grounded. It's just very TV.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
It's like she's from one of the episodes of Cheers or another TV show that Simon used to watch. Now, that could be part of the point, but I don't like those TV shows.
All right. Also, I was checking the credits. The Lemon Carb's dog, makes some sounds in this episode, and so it is credited, and therefore we know that its name is Yellow Sweets. Nice. Because it's like lemon sweets, but it's not a lemon. It's just yellow.
Who plays the dog, if I can ask?
I will get you that information shortly.
I'm only asking because every time there's a animal making noises, I assume it's D. Bradley Baker, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was him.
Probably the actor.
It's D. Bradley Baker.
Oh my god! That's amazing.
Because they're a lemon, I thought they were going to be voiced by the people who are voicing the lemon carbs.
Oh yeah, Lemon Hope was in this episode too. Speaking of lemons.
Oh, that's right.
Lemon Hope has been appearing. Butch woman Lemon Hope has popped up all over Fiona World.
I think the art in this episode is really nice, and some of it is really funny. There's a shot of a movie poster outside the movie studio, and it just says, "Man plane."
Man
That's
plane.
the name. Man plane. That's the name of the movie, and there's a man in a plane.
I do have an extremely small gripe about some of the art in this episode, which is that in the like flashback bits where Fiona is reminiscing about her past relationship and like how she met DJ Flame, I was hoping to see the backgrounds looking a little bit like messed up, like how they used to in the beginning of the first season, where like because it's not a real world and it's everything is in Simon's head, there were like visual glitches, like there were chunks missing out of buildings and stuff, and there was nothing like that. And I think that would have been a really cool detail had they remembered to put it in. But the fact that it's not there, I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, I would have liked it if it was there. I will now also give something that I liked visually in this episode, and that's that in the brief scene where they were talking to Prismo, some of the drawings of Prismo were like so cute.
Yeah.
He was really looking adorable in this one.
They really like him.
So I'm gonna say thank you to one of the writer storyboarders for this episode, according to the wiki, Jackie Files, Jacob Winkler, Graham Falk, or Iggy Craig, whichever one of them was drawing Prismo this time. Good job. I liked it.
Agreed.
Prismo's the best. And Ice Thing.
It's just nice when you can pause an episode and there's a visual treat in every single screenshot. I mean, look at January. I've been staring at this picture of Bubblegum and Marceline standing over Finn for like the past hour, and you can see all the princesses around it. It's on top of a podium, which seems very old-fashioned, but is filled with computers and has science machines on the top. And that you have the glass windows, the sunbeams, like in a shrine. You have little sphinxes all around the room, and treasure and candles, and what appears to be sacrifices.
Yeah.
Laid down in the name of Finn.
She did say she'd try anything.
Yeah, they sacrificed people in the name of his recovery. Or they present either that or those are gifts. They've presented mummies to him. I don't know, I just think it's a very delicious blend of ritual with science.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Alright, any other thoughts?
That's pretty much all from me.
All right. Like I said before we were talking, it feels like that week like flew by. Like it feels like we just talked about the other episode.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about Pickle Minute. There was an episode, a reference to this episode to Pickle Minute, which is apparently a podcast by Jesse Moynihan and his brother, where they review pickles.
Oh, that's a really fun fact.
Wait, that was Jesse Moynihan and his brother?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't them doing the voices. One of them was definitely Pendleton Ward, but that's what it was a reference to, apparently.
Huh. I'll have to look into that.
That's great. Alright, I'm turning off my audio.
All right.
Yeah, same.
Bye.